like, there's like so much consent culture and all that stuff going on, and they like take you on a tour of it, and they're like, these are the back rooms, these are like the different levels. You can just like go have sex in a room, or go have sex where like people can see you, or go have sex in a place where like people can ask to join you, or like there's just like different levels.
No, it's right next to the House of Comedy. Like I did stand up in one of those rooms. Yeah. People stumbled in and looked like, hey, is this an orgy? I'm just telling jokes.
If we had stayed at the club, we would have had complete control. And so we talked about what we were expecting, what we were wanting from the night, what our boundaries were before we went into the situation. Smart. But we never went to what if the craziest possible thing happens and we end up at an orgy, because we were like, we're going to have control. This isn't going to happen. That's not what happened.
Thank you, Kris, for coming on our show, the host of Reclaim Your Radiance.
Yes. I'm so excited to have you on here.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So you have a hilarious story about a threesome.
Multiple threesomes. Throughout Thailand.
I mean, yeah, they span all over Asia. I threesomed my way through Asia.
So when did this happen?
I mean, like my first threesome, it was in Colombia when I was like 21 or something. And then my first time, I had like almost 9 or 10 by the time I got back to Canada, when I was like, I don't know. My first threesome in Canada, I was like 25 or something.
Well, there's probably is there a difference between the Latin threesome and the Pacific Northwest threesome, where everyone's like, can I rub your elbow? Can I kiss your neck? As opposed to like, oh, they just like the romantic rolling their R's, kissing you, something like that.
Oh, like a little bit. Yeah. In Colombia, it was with a couple. And so it was like being loved by 2 people at once, which was like really cool. And that was my first experience. And they like got us a hotel where they like paid by the hour for the night. And you like drove in and it like closed behind you so nobody would see you cheating or whatever. Like it was
a threesome hotel.
Oh,
a cheating hotel.
Yeah, it's a cheating hotel in Colombia.
Ooh. Oh my God. So it's
a cheating hotel or a drug deal hotel. It's like either or. It's either or.
It's sketchy, pay by the hour.
Yeah.
Like
if you're selling drugs, the cops go like, no, I'm cheating. I swear to God. It's just like
I'm just cheating. Oh, just okay.
I'm not selling drugs. I'm just cheating. I swear. So yeah, what was the funniest one you've ever had?
What was the one that you stumbled into?
Oh man, yeah. There's 2 in particular that I think of, and one of them was in Canada and one of them was in Malaysia, where it happened by accident. But in both cases, like really good sex happened, but like only really with one person, and the third person was just kind of like there, and it was funny that they were there, but it didn't actually work.
Oh no.
That reminds me of
that poor person.
Yeah, that reminds me of like Ross and Friends, where like he just made a sandwich while
Yeah, so like the one in Canada is like, oh, that one was funny because like I went out with a girlfriend / like a person that I didn't know very well from a job that I used to have. And so like we were having like dinner and drinks and stuff. And I like thought that she might be into me, and I thought that she might be like at least somewhere on the gay spectrum. And I wasn't quite sure yet. And this night confirmed it, because she got very, very drunk, like drunk that she was slurring her words. And then this guy came up behind us and was like, I want to buy you guys shots. Like, I'm celebrating. Let's celebrate. And he was like very suave, very cool. And like within like 5 minutes, both of them independently were like, I would like to take you home. And I was like, okay, now I have a choice to make. What? But the girl was like, there was like this weird like friendship and more kind of situation where it's like, I'm responsible for her because I'm like, she's too drunk to handle herself.
Yeah.
And we're out. But then I really want to go home with this guy. So what do I do? And then like he noticed that we were like having this debate, and he like pretty much picks up on it. He comes over. He's like, I can take both of you home. And we're like, oh, all right.
I love that confidence, right? They'd be right, but she'd be like, hey, what if, it's just like, boom, right to the point.
Oh my God, it's so much hotter than this story coming from like a threesome app. Like this happened in real time. Everyone saw everyone from across the bar in a foreign land. Were you guys all like in the same hostel, or are these locals?
Oh, this was in Vancouver. Oh yeah, this was.
Oh, what bar in Vancouver for our listeners, just so they can give them hope.
This was Lamplighter on a Tuesday night.
Okay. And nice, Gastown.
It's actually
On a
I've done it
Tuesday
last
night, everyone. Tuesday nights are gonna be lit. Vancouver's opening up again.
Those people
Here's a
are
trick.
ready.
Now more than ever, everyone's cooped up. Now more than ever, head out to Lamplighter. You
Exactly.
guys
It's
better
a good time.
sponsor us.
It's and so like essentially she like I turned to her and gave her the choice because like she I think was only really into me and he was only into me, and so it's like one of those awkward situations. It's usually not like a three-way distribution. There's always a scale tipping in one direction, and she was probably too drunk to consent, but she did. And so we all piled into this like taxi van with my bike and went to my house.
Your bike, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
You're
good.
on your bike?
No. The bike was just shoved in the taxi with
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, it was and so it also very important is like so the guy was like very experienced in this and he knew how to like include 3 people, and
Yeah.
the woman had never even had sex with other woman, but she was very into it. But like yeah, there wasn't any chemistry between them two, so it was stumbly and it was awkward, and then kind of thankfully very soon into it I have this like really intense memory of like the girl like getting up and like butt naked except for her socks, getting up, kind of stumbling to one side and then stumbling to the other side and like going out the door and going and spending the rest of the night in the bathroom puking.
Aw.
Oh, so she didn't even get to start?
Yeah, she didn't get to really do that much, but it ended up being so much better because like the sex was just so good with this guy. And then the next day, I think the funniest part of this entire story,
He had
the
enough
next day-
energy for 2.
Yeah.
He used enough energy for 2 that he was ready for on 1. So you got a good time.
He was so sexy. He was so tall and so big, so he could just pick me up and put me against the wall. It was wonderful. But the next day, it was this weird situation where like neither of them would leave because both of them knew that the longer they stayed, like the person who stayed longest would get to have sex.
Oh, the morning sex. There you go. Yeah.
So it's like this like competition.
What is
my
that?
sexy
You know,
little
who's
rose.
gonna make me breakfast?
Whoever makes me breakfast, please slip out.
Yeah. I have some laundry to do. Does anyone want to fold it?
So did this result in like a threesome in the morning?
No, well, because like there was no more alcohol involved, and like these 2 people were like in competition, not attracted to each other, kind of thing. It was so interesting being like all of us knew exactly what was happening, but nobody was saying it. And like they were like, "Oh, is there any coffee?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "That's fine. I'll stay."
That's fine.
I'm
I'm taking in the bathroom all night, but I don't need any kind of drug to help me out right now, like coffee. I'm just up.
I was like, "I've got tea," and they're like, sure, yeah, sure."
I
like-
love tea. I actually love tea. I am a tea person too.
Kris, what's your favorite tea?
It's
Oh my god, that's my favorite tea too.
we have so much in common. Oh my god, do you want to stay? Yeah, it was so funny. And like at a certain point, it was like really, really obvious that like this guy was gonna win. He was not gonna give up.
Yeah.
And like the girl was like slowly losing her confidence, and she was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." She also was supposed to be at work, and she just didn't show up to work that day.
Oh, she really wanted you. Oh wow, that's really good.
Yeah, and then she eventually was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go now," and it was like, "Yeah, sorry, you lost."
What happened to her? Did she ever meet up with you again?
I did actually. Like 6 months later, we actually slept
Okay.
together, which was like we kind of like lost contact, but like she was still interested in meeting up, and then we went to this like lesbian theater show, and that just like that did the trick. And we had lesbian theater.
guys.
Lesbian theater. Is lesbian theater a turn on? Like, what is
Picked
lesbian?
up a twosome, ready to go, riled up from the lesbian theater.
What it like?
Sponsored by the government of Canada.
What is lesbian theater? Is it just 2 girls rehearsing who's on first?
I mean, it was the Fringe Festival. If you've ever been to the Fringe Festival,
Oh yeah.
so there's like,
I'm from Abbotsford.
Yeah.
The best Prince festivals in Canada.
oh, it's so good. But I think it was also, it wasn't just like, it was very just like all the spectrum of sexuality. And it was also people relating their stories. It was kind of dark. It was like all people talking about like different sexual stories that may not have been very pleasant, but like very open and wonderful to like discuss in this kind of forum and hear people's like really honest accounts of what happened to them. But it was just like so honest and raw, and there was like, oh, there was just, I don't know, it's like I just still
raw.
Well, good for her. So 6 months later, she played the long game.
She got in.
She got in eventually.
Nice.
Well, that was probably good because she probably really wanted to show off. She probably really made it all about you.
Well, no, she was new to it. A lot of the time, there's a lot of teaching involved in gay sex, at least in my experiences, just because a lot of women want to get into it, but haven't been given the opportunity and feel like they need to have a certain level of skill and don't know what they're doing. And so there's a lot of like just being really opening and welcoming and being like, yeah, I'll show you what you need to know.
Well, that's understandable because like you were drunk at the lamplighter on Tuesday, so you needed to get a good cracking in. So it's like, it's good that you had that guy. I got a good cracking in. I didn't want to have to teach you tonight. Well,
Yeah.
I get late
Teachers off.
and that's it. Yeah.
Well, I
It's a
can't teach
Tuesday.
you.
It's a school night. I didn't get mine. Like, because if it was a weekend, we could take our time, 3 to 4 hours. But it's a school night. I didn't get a good lay-in.
I mean, you can't be a teacher of 2 subjects at once. You can't teach somebody how to fuck a woman and have a threesome at the same time. It just doesn't work.
True.
Well, not sure. Yeah.
Lots to take on.
Because there's nuance. There's a lot of like picking up on like there's all like picking up on like what's going on. Like if a girl pinches your nipples, I mean she wants her nipples pinched. Like you need to pick up that stuff, right? Like usually people project what they want, what they like, and you need to just be really intuitive. So like if someone's new to it, it would have ruined their experience. And it's a Tuesday night, so we don't have 3 hours. We gotta be in bed by 12.
I mean, we took 3 hours, but we didn't have the time.
Oh, that guy took 3 hours. It sounds like he's very well hung. You had the time of your life. You're really like, go on. He didn't say his face once.
He was hours.
It sounds like he was very strong. He had testosterone through the roof, so he was a lifter. He was jacked to the max.
Oh, he was good. My nickname for him in the years to come when I would tell this story was the Yukon sex god.
He's from the Yukon? Oh my god, I haven't met anyone from there yet. The Yukon, for all of you Americans out there,
That's awesome.
it's a place in Canada where 4 people live. And he's one of them. And they're all jacked and ready to go for hours.
They all know how to fuck because they're mining for gold.
Exactly.
So
Or the Klondike.
There's nothing else to do there.
So tell us about the Asia one because that one's very interesting.
Well, I want to know what
Okay.
I would actually like to know what you've learned from your experience having threesomes. And maybe that will come into play with like your Asian trip there. But
Yeah. I mean, it's very different whether or not it's like with a couple or not. Like, are you part of the couple? Are they part of the couple? I think it's really beautiful if you're the third, because then it's like, yeah, if you act as one cohesive unit, if you're like the couple, you get to be just like, this is your, like, it's you two having sex with one person. And I think the best strategy I've seen for that is that like you kind of don't touch your partner so much. You focus on the third person. And so like both of you are just, you're like acting as one, having sex with this other person together. And I think that's a really good strategy if you're
You have to
in a partnership.
comfortable as well. So it's like you have to make sure that no one's jealous. They're not stepping on any toes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so the best way to do that is just like all of it's just concentrated on like the third person. And when it's 3 random people, I mean, that's the best situation. And it's just, you just kind of, I mean, it's really awkward. Actually, yes. Most of the awkward situations that I've ended up in, it's been like, if 2 people are both attracted to the third, then it's never going to go well. There has to be like this equal understanding and equal like attraction between everyone. Like one time it was literally just the guy was interested in me, but I really wanted to have sex with the girl. And we were in Thailand at the time, I think. And like, he had a private room. And so we were like, we can just go to his room and like, we'll include him. It's fine. But like, that was not a good idea.
Why wasn't what happened?
oh, so you just went in his own room and had sex in his room in front of him, essentially.
No, we included him.
Oh, okay. All right.
But that wasn't really the intention, which was like, yeah, it didn't really work. It has to be like we all want to do this together. And you can get into like so many like tantric side of it versus just like the base minimum would be we're all equally attracted to each other. And it's not like 2 people who are both like competing or something or like, yeah.
No, you
There's all sort of that run away.
You don't want any jealousy involved. Like I like what you said, where it's like the couple is like just trying to make this person comfortable. It's all about them, and they're just like,
Unless they're both fighting over you, and then you're just like,
bite.
to the death.
Who's gonna make me a sandwich?
Who gets all of this? No, I know what you mean. That would make sense. And is this something, because right now you're seeing a guy, right? And would you say that is this something that you guys are into or pursuing? Like, are you taking on a third, or how does that go when you're the couple who decides to do this?
Yeah, that is something we haven't quite worked out yet. We ended up in I haven't talked about this publicly, and I'm going to bring it up on my podcast at some point because it's something we really want to talk through, like the two of us, and like kind of show where our emotions got to and how we worked through it. But we ended up in an orgy by accident.
That's a fun stumble. What happened? Start from the beginning.
Oh yeah, so
For Kris.
before
we're at
the accident orgy.
It was a Tuesday.
Yeah, and so like we've always had this intention that we're going to open it up. We're going to do it slowly, and we're going to do it very intentionally. And because it's all about like, okay, here's this boundary. Let's see how we feel about it. But then the problem is like if you're
wait. So like, what's the boundary? So that's
like boundaries.
Tell people what are good boundaries if you're gonna start it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all up to you, right? It's like, but it's all about knowing yourself and knowing what you're comfortable with and where your jealousies lie and how you can mitigate that jealousy. And also like, discovering why you're jealous, right? There's like 3 reasons that you're jealous of that I've heard of. Is like, the first is that like your fear of being replaced, like, oh no, this person's gonna replace me because so there's fear of being replaced. There's the fear of missing out, and so they're doing something without you. And then there's also the fear that you're not good enough. Yeah. And those 3 kind of jealousies really play out in different ways. And so being able to identify, I have a fear of being replaced. And so that's why watching my partner have sex with another woman is really triggering for me. Yeah. But if I'm involved, then like I'm not being replaced. I'm part of this situation.
Yeah, you get or later. It's a shared experience. It's like what you want with a couple. That's always thought like there's this new like I always thought I would rather someone cheat on me with 16 people than one intimately.
Yeah.
So it's just like you just need to get that lady nut out. You have a sex drive. You get that lady. You just got nothing needs to be busted. You like the Tiger Woods rub, where it's just like you're fucking these whores. It's not intimate. You just want to do some mental shit, as opposed to like one intimate thing where it's like that would be devastating. Where it's just like when you're dating someone, it's like, hey, I should be your end all be all, like your intimacy.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
Why do you figure out? Like, do you agree? Like, if you were to get cheated on, would it rather be 16 sluts or one where you really connected with?
No, I would prefer that it would be. But the thing is that we wouldn't have cheating in our relationship. Like,
no, like hypothetically, like would you be easier?
Hypothetically, yes, 16. 16. But and when I say we don't have cheating in our relationship, it's that like we wouldn't call it that because we have an understanding that even if something were to happen, that we weren't able to communicate to the other person in time to say, hey, I have these needs aren't getting met. I actually had this impulse. I went and did this. I slept with this other person. Now we're going to talk about it. We've opened up the conversation enough that we would talk to each other about it. And it wouldn't be seen as cheating. It would be seen as like, because it wouldn't be a break of trust, right? Cheating is a break of trust, not sleeping with someone else.
When would you bring that up in a relationship, like almost right away? That was an intention? Okay. So you'd been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah, because like being bisexual means that like I've done this before. I've been in a relationship and been like, oh shit, I have this craving and I wasn't able to satisfy it. Like it's a need. It's not a want. It's not me being selfish.
First.
So if you're bisexual,
I need some more cowbell.
There are definitely bisexuals who would be completely monogamous, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I've found through a couple mistakes and a lot of thought that I am mostly a relationship person when it comes to men, mostly sexually attracted to women. And at least once a year, I will get this like deep craving where I I need to go have sex with a woman. I need that intimacy and that it's so feminine.
The thing is, that's good with a relationship because like when you share that, you don't feel like you're on an island. That's the worst thing with a relationship is you're hiding something.
Yeah.
Like you can't feel like you're on an island because you're not working as a team. So if you share it and they accept it, then you're still a team and you're working it together and you work it out together. So it's just like, you're still a team and everything's out on the table. Then it's just like, you're still a fucking team and they know what you're going through. And you're not pulling back as well. Like you're not feeling like you're hiding anything or like you can't be yourself around them. So it's like, it's always, like honesty is always the best when it comes to that stuff. Because then like, if they love you, then they'll be cool with it. And if not, then you'll talk about it and they'll know that it's genuine. So like, that's why it's important. Yeah. So let's get to this orgy. Now we got the full house sentimental last 22 minutes. What did we learn? What did we learn? The evidence sitcom out of the way. Let's get to the orgy.
Oh man, this was my only like group sex experience. I'd only ever had 3 before, and I'd only ever been in a situation where I wasn't in a relationship with any of the people involved, which is beautiful. So good, so simple. So like, I just got to take care of me and there's no love involved.
In and out, get home, take a melatonin, back to work in the morning.
Exactly. It's totally fun. Yeah, so this was, okay, so we went to a sex club. And what was it? It was kind of like called Eden, and it's in New Westminster, just outside.
Right next to all the bridal shops. That's all New West is, just bridal shops and strip clubs of alcohol.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like there's like so much consent culture and all that stuff going on, and they like take you on a tour of it, and they're like, these are the back rooms, these are like the different levels. You can just like go have sex in a room, or go have sex where like people can see you, or go have sex in a place where like people can ask to join you. Or like there's just like different levels.
Well, it's right next to the House of Comedy. Like I did stand up in one of those rooms. Yeah. People stumbled in and looked like, hey, is this an orgy? I'm just telling I'm just telling jokes.
If we had stayed at the club, we would have had complete control. And so we talked about what we were expecting, what we were wanting from the night, what our boundaries were before we went into the situation. Smart. But we never went to what if the craziest possible thing happens and we end up at an orgy, because we were like, we're going to have control. This isn't going to happen. That's not what happened. So we went to the sex club, and it was still COVID times. And so there wasn't like dancing, and like the rooms were all at like half capacity and stuff. And so like within like 2 minutes of the upstairs rooms opening up, they were all full to like COVID capacity. And so we could, like, everybody was just so sexually frustrated. We're like, we're all in these sexy outfits and none of us can do anything. And we're like, oh, well, fuck. Like,
that tension. Yeah, that tension.
So much tension. And so we got invited to an after party, and we didn't think anything of it. We're like, yeah, let's keep hanging out. Sure, why not? Like the club seemed to end and the night seemed to end too early. So we go to this after party. Again, really not thinking about this. And to give you an idea, like our boundaries for the night, we really want to bring in a third, and we want it to be a male third. Because of various things between us. But we really want it to be a male third. And so that's what we were hoping for, either have sex in public for the first time where people can see us, or bring in a male third. And that's where we're at. We're like super early and new. And instead, yeah, it started so subtly to the point where like I didn't realize what was happening. And then all of a sudden, like my friend's blowing her partner right in front of me. And I'm like, okay, this is happening. All right. Like still not thinking anything of it. Still not like realizing what's about to happen, and the air in the room was just getting sexier and sexier.
A certain genetic
it was like, oh my gosh, it was, whew. And then yeah, all of a sudden it was just full blown going on, and it was a lot of like sexual frustration and not a lot of like teamwork and consent. Like there just wasn't enough talking about it beforehand, and like the friends of mine that were there that had done similar situations before, / like one of them who's more into like the tantric side of sex, was very much like, yeah, that was just like a mutual masturbation session. Like everybody was just going wild and crazy, and there was like,
because of COVID, it's just
right. Everyone was so sexually frustrated, and so it was just coming out in that way. And yeah, it we didn't do it together. We like as a couple in this situation, we didn't go at it from a team standpoint. Because there was also somebody there that I had sex with before. There was a woman that I had sex with during our relationship. Because that's something we opened up very early, that because there's no like jealousy there and there's no comparison there to be had, and it's something easy to be like, okay, yeah, like I can go have sexual times with other women, just not relationships with them. And so like that woman was there, and so that confused everything. And then like we just weren't attacking it as a team. And so yeah, it got to a point where I had to run into the bathroom and cry.
Oh.
It overwhelmed me quite a bit, and like it didn't, like my brain didn't catch up with my body to the point where like it took me about 24 hours afterwards to realize what had happened. But all I knew was that something was wrong, and it just like slowly, like don't get me wrong, there was moments where I was like just surrounded and I was like, oh, I'm a fucking queen, this is wonderful, she's on top of the world. But yeah, and then there was moments where I was like, what's happening? Why do I not feel okay? And all I could feel was just pain, and so I just went into the bathroom and screamed.
Oh. So how did how was
the
that?
hidden dark side.
Yeah, that's the hidden dark side. Like sometimes it can be overwhelming. So what happened like afterwards? Did you get like, what was the vibe afterwards? Did he have a good time?
You know what? I don't regret it. Also, because now that we've done that, we can like, that just gives us so much like, okay, we've learned so much in such a short amount of time. Yeah, the lesson there is always talk to your partner about all the extreme situations when going to a sex club, because you never know what might happen, and you should talk about all the, even if they seem completely wild and so far out there.
Oh, that's cool. We're at 32 minutes. Let's put a button on that. Could you plug your podcast for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So my podcast is called Reclaim Your Radiance. It is it's a self-love, body positivity, open sexual expression and exploration podcast where I interview somebody every 2 weeks now, about how they live their radiant life.
You also have your own like twist and unique perspective on the world, which has been really nice to listen to.
And you're very genuine. Yeah. So like anybody that's fans with us, check out Kris's podcast. She's amazing. I love her pieces. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your
thanks,
story.
Guys. That's so cute.